There's only one proper way to search Reddit, which is by sorting controversial. Today on our leopard geckos. So let's see what we can find. Starting out with a pretty innocent post, looks like it's a normal leopard gecko, but it's got a GoFundMe link, which goes to my own brother, who doesn't properly know how to treat reptiles, decided to handle my poor baby while I was at work, and he bit him. So he decided to shoot him in the head with an airsoft pellet gun. My poor baby isn't eating and has a hole on the top of his head. The bullet came out the bottom of his chin. It's swelling up more and more, and I want to get him a vet surgery quickly. Please do whatever you can. People always say you shouldn't get an animal unless you're ready to afford a vet, but then again, normally you don't expect your brother to shoot them with an airsoft gun, or maybe you do. I don't know. This brother is clearly off to a great start in life, but that's not what I expected to find. I also don't know why this is like the most downvoted thing. I feel like this should actually have maybe a little bit of support, but that's the sub. Just got this 10-gallon from my leopard gecko I'm getting tomorrow. I'm excited. Probably gonna make him some hides out of Tupperware. I don't really get why they posted this. It's just a very boring post. For reference, 10 gallons is pretty small for a leopard gecko. Lots of videos, lots of guides say 10 gallons fine. The comments do not, neither does this sub like that. One comment said, I don't know if you've read the guides or not, but 40 is recommended, or at least a 20 long, which is not ideal. I think a 20 is ideal, but of course it's up to opinion. They responded, which got a lot of downvotes. Oh, I watched a video on the internet with an actual veterinarian who was saying a 10 gallon is fine for an adult leopard gecko. I figured I would go with what a doctor has to say about it. I think it's good to always read as much as you can, but if you talk to veterinarians, they say commonly 10 gallons is just fine. I think that should be considered the gospel. And here's the thing. I agree with them, kind of. I agree with their frame of mind, but I also agree with the other person, but I also disagree because I think 40 is not necessary. And this is why I have so many problems with the reptile community. This is why I don't consume reptile content. It's why I'm not really active in any reptile community. The only reptile community I'm active in is this one, my YouTube channel. Imagine getting an animal. There's two sources of advice. One is a veterinarian who went through years of schooling and got a degree, and the other is an anonymous poster on Reddit. I feel like everyone would reasonably expect that you should trust the veterinarian, but they're wrong a lot. And it's very funny because a lot of the times I say I really dislike veterinarians, and then people are like, don't say that, the veterinarians they're the best, they're good. And I get that there's different veterinarians. There's some good veterinarians, there's some bad, some that you disagree with, some that might be great. And I've always had these poor experiences. And ironically, I've done things in videos that were told to me by the veterinarians I felt I could trust the most. And then the same people that commented, how dare you say negative things about veterinarians, you don't know what they're going through, are the same ones that say, how dare you do this thing to an animal? And I'm like, well, it's that same veterinarian that told me to do that. That's why I think getting into reptiles, like being responsible and educating yourself while getting into the reptile community does not sound fun at all. And I can say that because I got into reptiles when I was just a little kiddo, catching reptiles outside, doing my thing. I was not educated. I shouldn't have been probably catching those animals at 6 years old and keeping them in a tub, but it happened. It's my past. I have to live with it. But then over time, I realized, oh, I need to improve this and fix this and stuff. But then there's these people that go into it actually trying to research, and everything disagrees. Sorry, I went on a tangent. My point is, I don't think a 10 gallon should be used, and I would also recommend that they use something bigger. But also, you can't blame them for trusting a reasonable source, especially if this is their first time in the reptile community, or any animal community probably. Reddit marked this as not safe for work, but Reddit is also a big softie, so I think I can show it. When I wanted to take a pic of my leopard gecko side by side, one of them bit the other. Now he has this exposed meat as the skin peeled off. I applied some water and medicine and closed the wound with a plaster. What should I do? So basically, a lot of people keep animals together, which is oftentimes not recommended. I have a video on cohabiting leopard gecko, so I won't really go in depth with it. My quick opinion is just there's not really any reason to. I think it could be okay, but there's not really a purpose in it. And that pretty much everyone would be better off not doing it, unless you're breeding, in which case you would hopefully be more knowledgeable on them in general. But surprisingly, even just putting two animals together, whether it's a leopard gecko next to a leopard gecko or a different species next to another, it's like most of the time it'll be fine. Like when people take a picture of their cat and their ball python, which most of the time, I'd say over 99% of the time, they're probably fine. But then you got these experiences like the leopard gecko with the exposed meat because they took him out for a picture. Hopefully it's okay. This was 2 years ago. I don't know. He gets grumpy if I don't do this. Just so you know, leopard geckos are not human babies. I know you like to call them your babies. I do feel some people anthropomorphize. I'm trying to make a valid point and I can't say the words I mean to say. I think a lot of people forget that reptiles are a bit different from not only people, but domesticated pets like a dog or a cat. And a leopard gecko, unless there's some medical reason it needs to take a bath, maybe it was constipated for some reason, they always throw them into these environments that don't make any sense. That, oh, it's cute, the gecko is smiling. No, that's not smiling, it's just its bone structure. And this leopard gecko is now surrounded by rubber ducks. So, no, I'm not complaining that there's a gecko in a tub. I just think it's kind of dumb and there's no point in it. My gecko likes my feet when I come out of the shower. Yeah, I don't know why I included this. Again, good to know. You see, what I do for these videos, you can see I already pulled up all the tabs, but what I do is I do it like 2 weeks in advance, and my memory's so bad I forget about all of them. So I don't know, I find this funny. I put a nerd rope on her. Yeah, alright, moving on. We need some fun ones in between the ones that kind of irritate me. Each of my leopard geckos has their own 20-gallon lung, but since I work at home, they get to play on the desk a couple of times per day. There's a few ways you could look at this post. One is, oh, it's kind of cute, the geckos are hanging out. The other, it's actually marked with a tag that says dangerous practices. I assume because it's 2 geckos in the same area that are not being bred. In my humble opinion, leopard geckos do not want to play on your desk. I'm not saying you shouldn't take your gecko out. I'm not saying that you don't get enrichment from putting your gecko on the desk, and I'm not saying that's necessarily bad, but a leopard gecko, if they could talk, they would probably say, put me back in my enclosure. I want to be left alone. Leopard geckos are super solitary. I guess because they look kind of cute, it's assumed they're not. Like, you want your gecko to have the incel lifestyle. Okay, that's a terrible example. You don't want your gecko to be super social because leopard geckos are not very social. They just want to hang out by themselves in a dark space and be left alone. But I think people, oh, well, I don't want to be left alone in a dark space by myself. Well, maybe you do. But that's what the leopard gecko likes, so it's okay. Again, I don't really care that they put them on their desk, but just be honest that you're doing it for yourself and not for your leopard gecko. Okay, that's all. Okay. Getting this printed out and taped on my tank because I got a female and tried to cohabit with my boy. Within a minute, he made advances on her that she did not look happy with. And I didn't want her to be a miserable egg layer with a shortened lifespan, so I took her back. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I got a leopard gecko. I want another leopard gecko. I want baby leopard geckos. I put geckos together. Oh no, there's baby leopard geckos. Technically, I guess that's how it works. I mean, yeah, male and female, they do this little funny dance, and then, which is actually surprisingly violent. If you watch videos, not that I have, it's pretty aggressive. It's natural, it happens, but you just gotta kind of know what you're getting into. You are technically risking the life, generally more of the female, when it comes to reptiles, when you breed. I'm not saying you shouldn't breed. I think breeding is, there wouldn't really be any animals if they weren't bred, but I don't know what the point I was trying to make was. Yep, there's this. In my humble opinion, which I should stop saying, it's not humble and it's not opinion. In my accurate correctness, everything in this picture is wrong. But think about all the people that are doing this that don't post it on Reddit. I kind of appreciate when people post it. And what I used to try and do is just kind of give a nice, like, oh, hey, cute pic. That's a lie. It's not cute at all. It's a pretty ugly leopard gecko. Here's one suggestion. I never try to throw everything on at once because people aren't really very susceptible to that. But yeah, it's like, even if you downvote and get upset at this one person, for every one leopard gecko picture of this, there's probably 50 that are in a worse condition being kept by some random 4-year-old who got it from Petco for their birthday. I'm a bit negative today. Am I always this negative? I'm a positive boy. You all know I'm a very positive boy. Is Powerade poisonous to leopard geckos? I wouldn't give mine any, nor if it wasn't, would I? I'm just curious. This feels like the asking for a friend sort of thing. They totally gave them Powerade, but good on them for asking. Also, I'm kind of curious myself now. I guess there is a lot of sugar. I wouldn't suggest trying it. But if there was like a leopard gecko simulator,
I would try a lot of things.
I'm gonna move on. I shouldn't have said that. What is my gecko gender? Of all the ways to handle a leopard gecko, and they picked this one and posted it. God, I forgot about this one. Keep your pet away from ants. Good to know. Yep, there it is. There was I think there's a story in the comments. Let's see. The poor owner took a 2-day trip to his grandmother's house. Out of fear of starvation, the owner threw some crickets into the tank. The loud, smelly, and high-protein crickets always attract ants. In captivity, the gecko has no chance to escape. So please, if you have to go away for a week, remember the gecko will survive without feeding. Do not leave uneaten food in the tank. Personally, I've never had ants in a reptile enclosure, but I can see... Okay, actually, that's not true. One time I tried to get some organic substrate, and it was. The source of the substrate was great, but it turns out where the substrate was being, or like where the dirt was being stored in the store, had access to ants. So I did actually have an ant thing one time, but I just dumped the substrate. But ants are pretty vicious. It's pretty insane. And I've never actually thought about this. When I was a kid and we'd go on like a week-long trip, I would usually feed the animals and give them water. Ideally, I would suggest not leaving your animals more than like a leopard gecko. I'd say I could leave mine 3 days without being seen or something. So like if you just have someone come like once during the week, hoping they have some sort of idea of how to care for them and also won't shoot them with an airsoft gun. I guess this is possible though. I don't know. Just, yeah. Have you had an animal eaten by ants? Let me know in the comments. That's the question of the day. And I think I'm gonna pause there. If you want me to do more, I can, but that's enough juiciness for one day. I do the Instagram videos where like you post under hashtag GoHerping review and I like give it a rating. I still love doing those. I'm gonna do more, but most people aren't gonna send such negative posts when they know I'm gonna look at it publicly. So I thought it would be fun to mix it up and check out the Reddit side of things, but I'm sure there's plenty more we can do. Also, you can check out the description for a bunch of stuff I've got. You can check out supplies I recommend. You can also support me on Patreon. You get early access to some videos. You can contact me directly. You get my Discord, discounts on animals, just various things if you're interested, and I really appreciate those of you who do support me. I also got some merch and whatever, but that'll be it for this video. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.